Good morning. This is the following day. I have got to go and do some work in a minute, but I just nipped up to the workshop so I had to get some bits and pieces for I've got to fit a gate for a friend in a minute, and that's the Morris Minor from yesterday. And we have a nice new lead lamp, which I'll talk about in a minute. So that's looking quite a lot better. I'll let the paint go off a bit tonight, and I'll be up later on to reassemble the wing and bits and pieces. But yeah, I think with a layer of paint on it, that could be a lot worse. I'm sort of, it's not brilliant, but it's a lot better than it was. So yes. Anyway, when I went up to the Morris Minor Owners Club, I went up to see my mum in September. I called into the Morris Minor Owners Club in Derby, I think. Really lovely people, couldn't speak more highly. I had a guided tour from our chairman Ray and the two ladies in the office. One who's, I remember, Liz is absolutely brilliant, couldn't be more helpful when I first bought the Morris. If you've got a Morris Minor, join the Morris Minor Owners Club. They can't be nicer, they can't be better. It's, yes, definitely worthwhile investment. Morg very proudly has her 2020 sticker in the window. Anyway, so that's that. So that's the Morris Minor Owners Club. What I did was, Lidl's have a special on. And sort of some of Lidl's stuff is really not brilliant, but other parts of it's really good. I use the chainsaw hats a lot, and to be honest, they really are a bit dodgy. So this is a Lidl's angle grinder. It's 20 quid, and you can't have too many good angle grinders. I've just been chatting to my landlord, who's a blacksmith, and his feeling is, because he uses angle grinders long and hard, he has to invest quite a lot more. But because of what I'm doing, is I'm not really using the angle grinder hard. Occasionally I do, but mostly with car bodywork, which is 95% of what I do, it's certainly less impact. Now, when I started doing this about 15 years ago, a friend turned around and said, you've got two choices. One of which is that you either sorry, I got distracted, landlords walking past again. That you've got two choices. You either spend a lot of money on an angle grinder, or at the time I think B&Q had cheap angle grinders in for about 18 quid. Or he said, you just buy a cheap one and you just budget every 12-18 months to replace it. My first B&Q one lasted I think about 18 months, maybe 2 years. The second one did the same. And yeah, I mean, one company which I wouldn't buy an angle grinder from, I bought one locally from Trago Mills, which is one of the local sort of, if you're down in the southwest, you don't need to explain Tragos. If you go anywhere else, you do. But this, and I bought a Black & Decker one, and to be honest, it was bloody rubbish. So this is a Lidl's angle grinder. Completely, I've only undone the box. You can see I haven't even plugged it in yet, which we're looking very sophisticated. Well, let's just, there's so much of this stuff, it's just easier with two hands. You know, they didn't say, start doing YouTube and start learning to be dexterous. I'm going to get back to you, I think, when I've opened that one up. Okay, so what do you get in a Lidl's angle grinder? First of all, instruction booklet. Being a bloke, what's the first thing I do? Put that to one side. You have a cutting disc, which, to be honest, I use the ones from SJ Andrews, and I mean, I'll use that cutting disc, but let's be honest, it's not going to be brilliant. So yes, free cutting disc. Now, in here, I suspect that we have some bushes, which is, I don't think I've ever bought an angle grinder with replacement bushes. So already this is a bit different. The brushes here are what I had to replace on the Morris Minor, on the Morris windscreen wiper motor. So when they wear down, and I'm not an electrician, I'm not an electrician at all, but these allow the electric motor to work. And I think they're made out of graphite, like pencils, I think. So anyway, I'm sure there's people out there correcting him. But that really surprises me, because I don't think I've ever replaced... I've burnt motors out before, I've burnt bushes out on angle grinders, or I've burnt bearings out. So yeah, that's a surprise. That's a sort of piece of clever design. And what I'm going to do is, they're going to go up in the battery box, because then I'll know roughly where they are, up in the bits and pieces. So, next thing we'll have a look at. The handle, and I've never seen this before either, but the handle has the, dyslexic non-memory, but basically the key for unlocking it in it. That's quite clever. That's actually quite sort of a clever piece of design, because it means that, you know, you should be using the angle grinder with the handle most of the time. So yeah, that's a clever piece of design. Whether or not it will get in the way or not, particularly when you're working on cars, which are notoriously small, cramped spaces, I don't know. And it doesn't feel like it's really clicked into there either. So I suspect that I will do what I normally do, which is when I'm doing a lot of work, that lives down the side of the welder. The angle grinder itself is quite large. Now, if I reach down and grab the one which I was using yesterday primarily, and these are both the same size, you can see the size difference. The Lidl's one is probably, with the handle, probably a good 4 inches longer. Again, that's a little bit awkward, but we'll see. But what it has got, which I'm really surprised about, is the speed control. So I think what we should do is plug it in. I'll put my safety glasses on, grab a piece of scrap steel, and let's test them back to back. And what I'll do is I'll grab one of the really good cutting discs so we can compare how they work. Well, let's try them. That cut pretty well. I'm now going to swap the disc over, and let's try the other one. Okay, this is I'm not even going to pronounce that, but hopefully you can see it there, and let's just give it a go. To be fair, and I'm going to say this, but to me it felt like the Lidl's one cut far faster, and it felt like I had a bit more power. I don't know how old this one is, but this is a bloody good angle grinder, and again, my friend Alan, who's clearing his workshop out, my friend, he came part of the deal, which I got a load of bits and pieces from him a while back, and as soon as lockdown's clear, I've got to help him clear his garage up. Bloody good angle grinder, really, really good quality. But for the price, I think this is going to be a win. I suspect, and so much of what I'm doing is I don't have a budget. I don't have lots of tools. My welder cost me 80 quid, which I'll do a review on in a bit. It's basically a snap-on 130, the Sibora Pocket Turbo 130, is known as being a good little MIG welder. So, yeah, I bought lucky on that one. But yeah, for a piece of kit, for not too expensive, it seems to be well made. It's a bit bulky. I suspect what I'll probably end up doing is cutting that handle off there. And with the guard, because of be doing so much body work, I suspect I might well run the cut disc along and trim this guard back so it looks more like that one. Which, you should always use an angle grinder with a guard, but for a lot of automotive work, something like that is so much easier. So yeah, but overall, certainly worth the money, and I would recommend, and let's just see how long it lasts, but I would certainly recommend, for if you need one budget angle grinder, go and get one quickly before they sell out.